BTB listeners, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Listen, if this episode inspires you, do me a favor and take 5 seconds to shoot me a like and subscribe to the podcast. There are several more exciting guests that are in the pipeline, and I just can't thank you enough for your continued support, and let's keep paying the mission forward.
Every time you choose to do the work anyway, to be a habitual creature of doing the work, you weaken your old identity and you start strengthening the new one. And eventually over time, as you're chipping away at your rock, the work becomes who you are.
What are you built to be? What are you built to become? The time is now. The time is right now. You weren't built to break. You were built to be something greater. Welcome to Season 2 of the BTB Project. I'm your host, Coleman Gearhart. I was an overweight kid, one counted out, lost 100 pounds, found purpose in the pain, and turned my setbacks into a story worth telling. This podcast isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about identity, discipline, and comebacks. Getting up one more time and becoming who we're always meant to be. If you're ready to go deep, do the work, and live out what you're built to be, you're in the right place. Let's lock in, let's rise, and let's get to work.
Welcome back to the BTB Project. I'm your host, Coleman Gearhart, and today we are in step 5 of the BTB BluePrint. I couldn't be more excited for today because this step encompasses so much of what I believe in, what is really the heartbeat behind the BTB project. And step 5 is going to be work. The reps that we build to who you're becoming. If you've been able to walk through this series with me so far, you've already done some pretty heavy lifting in the first 4 steps. You've been able to study your story. You've decided who you're built to be or who you're becoming. You've been able to prepare your environment, putting yourself around the right people for success. And then you finally began. You took that first step. You were able to get out of your comfort zone just to start moving in the right direction. And now we're stepping into something that isn't flashy. This is the one that is incredibly convicting on what it truly takes to accomplish your goals, to go after your dreams and ambitions. This isn't always the most fun, but it's absolutely essential in what we're doing in the BTB Blueprint. So what is work? What is step 5? This is a step where the blueprint becomes real life. We're done with all of the talking, all of the planning, all of the preparation. This is where the identity you choose starts getting tested. Life starts happening. And this is the step that most people avoid. I avoided it starting this podcast. When people told me over the last 12, 13 years, hey, Coach K, it is so inspiring what you're doing on the tennis court. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I pondered that question for so many years because I felt like if I put a microphone in front of my face that no one would want to listen to what I had to say. I was in fear of being an embarrassment, in fear of not saying the right thing. And I spent so many years not doing what I'm doing now. And I was avoiding. And it's not because I didn't want to go after something great. It's not because I didn't want to change my life, but it was because I didn't quite realize what change or what doing this podcast actually cost. I'm a family man. I'm a husband. I got 3 children. I am working on full-time employment. I have a second job. I have a third job. I got so many different moving parts. It's like, when am I going to find time to do this? And ultimately, all of that in my head prevented me from doing the work. So today I want to talk about the kind of work that builds you, the kind of work that makes you feel like you're going in the right direction. It doesn't burn you out. It gets you excited to get up and go after each day. So what does work really mean? When most people hear the word work, they think grind. They think rolling up their sleeves and just going after everything they can at 100 million miles an hour. They think of hustle. They think of exhaustion. But that's not what I'm talking about here. Work in the BTB blueprint isn't punishment. It's proof. It's the daily reps that reinforce the identity you said you wanted. Remember, these are your goals. These are your ambitions. And it's about showing up when the motivation is gone. Motivation helps get you started, but it doesn't keep you in it. It doesn't put in the reps that are important for the change, for putting in the work. It's doing the thing you've committed to even when no one's watching. Because here's the truth. You don't become someone new by thinking different for a day. You become someone new by working differently over time. Work is how belief becomes embodied. Why does this step matter so much? Why does work matter so much? It's the point in every transformation where most of the resistance shows up. The excitement will fade. The novelty wears off. The excitement of, I'm going to do something great, starts flickering off. The results slow down. Maybe you have a huge win right out of the gate when you decide to go after your built to be journey. Congratulations. It doesn't stop there. This is where most people quit. Most of the clients that I've had as a coach, I can usually sniff this out in the first 2 or 3 interactions that I have with that person. Are they willing to do the boring things, to do the over and over, the non-glamorous things, the work, to get after what we've mutually agreed upon for their goals and ambitions? Most of those people end up quitting. And it's not because they're incapable, but it's because they misunderstand the process. They think something's wrong because it feels hard. But hard doesn't mean broken. Hard means you're actually in it. You're right where you need to be. Everything meaningful that you want to change, everything meaningful that's been changed in my life, and I mean every single one, required long stretches of unseen, uncelebrated work. I didn't have people in the background cheering for me. I didn't have people in 46 countries listening to my podcast. It was silent during the work. I was unseen. And that's not just a theory that I'm talking to you about. It was a lived experience that I had. Your story needs to meet this step. Your story needs to meet the work. There's a reason this step exists in the blueprint. Because nothing about your story, nothing about my story, or the story of anyone who's actually transformed and changed their life happened overnight. It was using the pickaxe. It was chipping away at the rock over and over and over. This great analogy of a caveman chipping at a rock. There's one image of the caveman getting right to the end and not being able to see on the other side. But they stopped chipping away. And then below that is another picture of another caveman who's chipping away at the rock. And you can see that they've made their last swing, breaking the rock wall. And on the other side, there's this beautiful array of diamonds. Person above, the caveman was one swing away from the same amount of diamond. That's what the work looks like. None of it happens overnight. Losing 100 pounds for me didn't come from one emotional moment. It came from repetition after repetition, run after run, decision after decision that was coincided within my Built to Be mission to go put in the work to make it happen. Becoming a Division I athlete didn't come from one good week of putting in the reps. It came from week after week, month after month, year after year of absolutely exhausting the boringness of the decision that I made because I knew on the other side was a whole lot better of an outcome than where I was going in my life. That's the work. It's building resilience through addiction, building resilience through loss, through injury, through rebuilding my life. Because I didn't come from talent. Nothing was given to me. Every single inch was earned. It came from showing up over and over again when it would have been easier not to. If I got to be honest, the work wasn't glamorous. Most of it happened in isolation. Most of the work was by myself in the dark. Most of it looked ordinary. But that's exactly the point. Extraordinary lives are built through ordinary work done consistently. Everybody wants the extraordinary life. We see it on Instagram. We see it on social media. People want that result. 90% of the people that post those results, most of it is an illusion. Most of it's not even real. But they want us to see that. They want us to have that interpretation that success is this flick of a light. You can have it instantaneously. It's not the case. What's so beautiful about work is that it builds identity, not just results. Here's the mindset shift that I want you to sit with. Work isn't just about what you get. It's about who you're becoming in the process of getting it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your identity shifts. Every time you do the rep instead of making the excuse, your confidence grows. Every time you show up tired but committed, something rewires internally. You stop saying, I'm trying. It absolutely grinds my gears as a coach to hear when people say, I'm trying, coach. What does that even mean? You should start saying, this is who I am. And that's when things change. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger in that identity. You're making a decision through the work, through those little steps to be strong in the identity of your built to be journey. So let's make this more practical. I'm going to call this the 20-minute work rule. I want to give you something simple you can actually use to apply this step in your BTB blueprint. I want you to choose every day one action that aligns with the person that you're becoming. And I want you to work on that one action for 20 minutes. That's it. Not 2 hours, not perfection, not burning yourself into the ground, just 20 minutes of intentional, aligned work. Why does this matter? Because consistency beats intensity every single time. This is where truly the turtle wins the race. You chipping away at the rock wins the race. Momentum you create beats motivation every time. 20 minutes removes the overwhelm. 20 minutes isn't that long. It's not 20 hours. It's not 20 days. It removes any negotiation you need to have with yourself. It makes the work approachable. I'm not asking for your soul. I'm just asking for 20 minutes. And over time, it compounds into your identity. So, what does that 20 minutes look like? If you're looking to rebuild your body, build more muscle, lose more weight, maybe it's 20 minutes of movement. Maybe it's going on that walk. Maybe it's doing a light calisthenic workout. Maybe it's just doing push-ups till failure and resting in between. Doing it for 20 minutes. If you're rebuilding your confidence, maybe it's 20 minutes of doing the thing that you've always avoided. Maybe it's 20 minutes of standing up and working on your speech, working on those public speaking skills that you've always wanted to tap into. Maybe it's more relationships, meeting more people, spending 20 minutes to go find a new person and get their first name and their last name and have a 20-minute conversation with them. Maybe it's you're rebuilding your direction. 20 minutes of planning and learning. Maybe it's a job change. Maybe it's a change of school. Maybe you're an athlete and you're looking to enter the transfer portal and going after something new. 20 minutes of planning and learning. Maybe you're rebuilding your discipline. Maybe it's 20 minutes of showing up no matter what. Go sign up for that spin class. Go sign up for that half marathon. And spend 20 minutes a day working towards rebuilding that discipline. The win isn't in the duration, how much time you're spending doing this. The win is in the repetition of doing the work. So as we establish that 20 minutes, put it in your journal. And I want you to start working through the resistance. Here's what you're going to expect going through this exercise. Some days the work's going to feel really easy. Some days it's going to feel freaking heavy. Like, how in the world am I going to be able to do this? Some days you'll question whether it's working. But that's completely normal. Resistance isn't a sign of you're failing, it's a sign of you're changing. Old patterns don't disappear quietly, they fight to stay relevant. But every time you choose to do the work anyway, to be a habitual creature of doing the work, you weaken your old identity and you start strengthening the new one. And eventually over time, as you're chipping away at your rock, the work becomes who you are. They say it takes roughly 21 days for the body to start making a chemical change to do something different. Are you willing to do this 20-minute exercise each day for the next 21 days? Love for you to shoot me a DM or shoot me a comment of, is this something that you really can do? Does your time allow that? Putting in the work. Here's your challenge for this week. Choose one area of your life that matters, just one, and commit to it. 20 minutes of aligned work each day for the next 21 days. No perfection, no heroics, just consistency. I want you to track each day. I want you to honor each day. And I want you to protect each day. This step is a sacred place because the work you put in, I'm telling you, is the best return on investment that you could possibly invest in. Because this is how you begin to trust yourself. This is how you begin to rebuild trust. And when you trust yourself again, everything changes. Listen, if this BTB episode impacted you, step 5 on putting in the work for your BTB blueprint. If it's something that resonated with you, do me a favor, like and subscribe to the BTB project. We have 7 more exciting steps in the BTB blueprint that we're going to get through pretty quick. We're going to tackle each one of these so that we have an arsenal of 12 steps to work our program. And I hope it's something that not only inspires you as a listener, but it's something that you can pay forward to somebody else. Somebody needs step 5 today. Somebody needs the first 4 steps. Who is that person? Get them in the front of your mind. And if this episode impacted you, shoot them the episode. Let's continue to be on mission. I am proud of each and every one of you. And until next time, take care.